Hello students, today we are going to find the magnetic field due to a infinitely long thin wire carrying some current at some distance which is given to us. Now here you see we have considered the infinitely long wire which is carrying current I, and we consider any point P which is at a distance r distance from the wire. We have to find the magnetic field due to this wire at this point. Here we already know that from Ampere's circuital law we have B dot dl is equal to mu 0 I. Let us call it equation number 1, and again we find mathematically B dot dl is equal to B magnitude of dl, that is the loop element, and cos of the angle between these two. So since the angle between magnetic field and a loop element is 0 degree, therefore we write cos 0, and cos 0 is 1, so we are left with magnitude of B and magnitude of dl within integral. But since magnetic field is constant at this point, therefore we take it outside, and we are left with dl within the integrals. When you add up all the loop elements, certainly it must be equal to the circumference of the circle, which is the Amperian loop drawn about the wire. So if we have a loop here and it is at r distance, then the circumference of the loop will be 2 pi r. So let us call it equation number 2. Now one question I am leaving it for you for the time being, that how come we take that magnetic field at this point P is constant, and magnetic field at all the points on the Amperian loop is constant. Magnitude of magnetic field at all the points on the Amperian loop is constant. We will discuss it just now, but for the time being I am leaving it. So from equating equation number 1 and equation number 2, what we get is, you see, B 2 pi r is equal to B dot dl is equal to B 2 pi r, and B dot dl is equal to mu 0 I, and therefore we get B into 2 pi r is equal to mu 0 I, and therefore the magnetic field at point P due to the infinitely long wire will be equal to mu 0 I by 2 pi r. We call it equation number 3. From this equation we also see that the magnetic field due to the infinitely long wire is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. Greater is the current, greater will be the magnetic field. And it is also inversely proportional to the perpendicular distance of that point considered where we have to find the magnetic field. Inversely proportional. It means that from equation 3 we also see that the magnetic field due to infinitely wire is not infinite. Though it was expected, one can expect that if the wire is long, it is infinite, the magnetic field produced by that should be also infinite. But that is not the case. It is always a constant for a given I value and given R value. And therefore, since for a given current value and given perpendicular distance value, the magnitude of magnetic field is always constant. And since the magnitude of magnetic field is always constant, therefore we call it cylindrically symmetrical. This magnetic field is cylindrically symmetrical about the wire. What it means that if we draw a cylinder about this wire, you see that on the surface the magnitude of magnetic field is same at all the points on the surface. How you can see here, it is depending on the perpendicular distance. We are taking the radius of this cylinder to be equal to the perpendicular distance. And then in that case, the magnetic field, the magnitude of magnetic field at all the points on this cylindrical surface is constant, and therefore it is called symmetrical, cylindrically symmetrical. Cylindrically symmetrical magnetic field is produced due to a long infinite wire carrying some current. Now about the direction of magnitude, we have already a right hand grip rule. You can find the direction of magnetic field. You hold the wire with your right hand grip, showing the thumb along the direction of current flowing, and then the direction of tangent drawn on the curved figure will give us the direction of magnetic field at that particular point. Say for example, if you find the magnetic field at the middle bend of the index finger, you see it is going away from you. And if you find the magnetic field at this point, then you see it is directed towards me, and at this point it is directed towards you, and at this point it is parallel to the whiteboard. So that way the magnetic field, the direction of magnetic field can be easily found out by drawing the tangent on the curved finger if you apply the right hand grip rule. So the direction is now very much found. You can also apply the Biot-Savart law to find the direction of magnetic field. But now we want to discuss the magnitude of magnetic field. How come we can say that the magnitude of magnetic field is constant at a given point? Let us consider a case. Say we are having a infinitely long wire, and we consider any point P to lie at some finite distance from it. Since the wire is infinitely long, so any point here, due to this element which is at the center of the wire, let us say we are finding the perpendicular distance, and where the perpendicular is dropping on the wire, we call it O. Then the current element at this point O, say dl O, will produce the magnetic field given by the Biot-Savart law, or you can even apply the right hand grip rule. So that means it is tangential, means it is away from the observer, from you, and into the whiteboard. Now since the wire is infinitely long, we can always have two equidistant current elements about this point symmetrically. Means if we consider a current element at x distance on the upper side, we must also find similar current element at the lower side, say lower side and upper side. And due to this current element, if you consider the magnetic field will, the magnitude of magnetic field will decrease. This is one point, because you know the Biot-Savart law, you have magnetic field due to Biot-Savart law, due to a current element is mu0 by 4 pi I dl cross r divided by magnitude of r cube. If you expand this and write it in terms of sin theta, you will see the angle theta will dictate the magnitude of magnetic field. So that way the magnitude of magnetic field is decreased. And also the direction, you look at it, see this is the direction of, you look at it, see this is the current element, vertically upward direction, let us say dlu, and you see this is the r vector, So this is your r vector, this is your dl vector. Now what happens? Had this r been horizontal, then applying dl cross r, the screw would have gone into the whiteboard perpendicularly. But that is not the case. You are bending it slightly, still the direction of magnetic field remain same. Of course, the magnitude of magnetic field will not remain same. Similarly, due to this current element DLL, means lower side, what you have is the magnitude of magnetic field at point P will be less than what the current element DL0 was producing at point P, and the direction is of course tangentially. So what you see is all these magnetic fields are getting added up, but each time we move away from the center, the magnitude of magnetic field produced by these current elements keeps reducing, and so that way the sum never becomes infinite. If you imagine a case the wire is at infinite distance, then what will happen? Magnitude of magnetic field will be 0. Apply this, expand it in and put the value of sin theta, you will get that. So that way you must have got some idea about the magnitude of magnetic field. Of course, the direction of magnetic field is now clear to you, and I believe that you have also got some idea about the magnitude of magnetic field, why it is not becoming infinite. And apart from this, you will see that one more important thing we can now understand is that what the Gauss law for electrostatics is to Coulomb's law for electrostatic is the Ampere-Circuit law to the Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart law is the fundamental approach towards finding the magnetic field. Similarly, Coulomb's law for electrostatic is the fundamental approach towards finding the electrical force acting on between the charges. Means finding the electric field, of course, force per unit charge is electric field. So both are doing the basic work in their respective fields, and Gauss law in electrostatics does the same work, is having the same relation with the Coulomb's law as the Ampere-Circuit law is having relation with the Biot-Savart law. That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.